Most High and the Son, Yahweh Shai. Let me cut my Bluetooth on right quick. I don't want to be too low. Shalom, shalom. Giving honor and praise to the Most High and the Son, Yahweh Shai. Get a couple of these late night classes in. I know I ain't did it in a while. Really kind of just started back working nights again, so I was trying to get it in, man. Through the power of the Most High, man. The name of the class today gonna be called Protection. That's something that we gonna really need from the Lord, man. And our everyday, day-to-day walk, just looking to seek, seek counsel of the Lord. So that's going to a couple of precepts that help brothers and sisters kind of go through their day. Uh, Hope everybody that's tuning in tonight, man, get a good understanding. And the one that's kind of cool, tune in a little bit later to get a good understanding of the scriptures, right? You know, the Bible says we got to let God be true and every man be a liar. So, let me see. I don't really know where I want to start off here. Let me go into this. Let me see. The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 15 and verse 23. And it reads, this is a common precept, but we really kind of just home into it. It said, for rebellion is as a sin of witchcraft, and the stubbornness is as the iniquity in idolatry, because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord. He also rejected thee from being king. And Saul said unto Samuel, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the commandments of the Lord and thy words, because I feared the people and obeyed their voice. And this is something that we as a nation must get ourselves away from, because what the people say, we fear what they say, and we go against what the Most High God's word is, man. This is the same thing that goes into Christianity. It's the same thing that goes into uh, religion. It's the same thing that goes into a whole slew of things, man. I'm gonna read this over again, man. And this is what gets a lot of people in trouble, man. Even fearing of a job on a day-to-day, just fearing of the wife and the children. They can't shake a lot of that stuff because these are the things that set in factor uh, for our own, like you say, our own vain imaginations, right? But read it again. The book of 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and the stubbornness is the iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he had also rejected thee from being king. And Saul said unto Samuel, I have sinned, and I have transgressed the commandments of the Lord and thy words, because I feared the people and obeyed their voice. Now, this is what the Most High God did, like you say, going into people in fear, people worried about what somebody else say, man, when we're supposed to be serving the Lord. And that's the reason why the Lord say the obedience is better than sacrifice, right? Let's go to Sirach chapter 34, man. I'm going to start at verse, watch this. This is the fear we're supposed to have for the Most High, not the fear that we have for men, but the fear we're supposed to have for the Most High, right? Watch this. The book of Sirach, chapter 34, watch this, in verse 13. I'm sorry, verse 13. The spirit of those that fear the Lord shall live, for their hope is in him that saveth them. And this is why our hope is supposed to be, in him that can save us, right? And this is going into the Most High God, man, and his son Yahweh Shai, right? Verse 14. Whoso feared the Lord shall not fear nor be afraid, for he is his hope. So the things that we as people, we ain't got to fear what another person say, even on our jobs, even in our household, and in our day-to-day dealing with our families, man, and other people that we see on our journey in this walk of life, man. We ain't got to fear them, man, because we know We're going to fear the one that can kill the body and soul in the lake of fire, right? But watch this, verse 15. Blessed is the soul of him that feareth the Lord. To whom doeth he look, and who is his strength? Right? Verse 16. For the eyes of the Lord are upon them that love him, and he is their mighty protection and strong stay. Now, he said he is the mighty, this is our God, and he's our mighty protection and our strong stay. Even watch this next part, man, is heavy. And we see how the world is going. It's getting warmer and hotter by the day. Guess what? Brothers are seeking, trying to endure this heat. Guess what? And guess what? Brothers trying to endure this heat of people taking. Just think about all the sisters, man. They walk around with their clothes off every day. Brothers walking around with the tightest clothes they can possibly wear. That's not of the Most High God, man. Sisters supposed to be dressing modestly. Brothers supposed to be keeping the commandments as it is written, man. You don't want to be too exposed neither, man. We supposed to be keeping things cordial, man, as the Lord tell us, right? Watch this. I'm going to read verse 16 again. I want to read it from the top, but I'm going to read it all the way through. For the eyes of the Lord are upon them that love him, and he is their mighty protection and strong stay, a defense from heat, and a cover from the sun at noon, a a pers- perse- preservation from stumbling, and a help from falling. It's a preservation from stumbling, and a help from falling. Salaki couldn't get that word out. A preservation from stumbling and a help from falling, right? And he raised up the soul and lighted the eyes. He giveth health and life and blessing. Now this part is heavy, man. The people that fear the Most High God, guess what? When we want to look for a blessing to be healed. We want to be looking for blessings to go our way, looking to try to get ourselves in the right space. Guess what, man? We got to be leaning on this, man. You want to be healed? Guess what? You want to survive. You want to thrive in this thing. Guess what? You got to be keeping the commandments, man, as it is written, right? I'm gonna read verse 17. It's heavy, man, right? He said, he raised up the soul and lighted the eyes. He giveth health, life, and blessings, right? He that sacrifice of the things wrongfully gotten, his offering is ridiculous. And the gifts of the unjust man are not accepted, man. And this is the same thing he was telling Cain and Abel, right? It's the same thing he was telling Cain. He said, if you do well, it will be accepted. But if you do it not well, what? Sin lied at the door, and it will have dominion over you, right? Verse 19. The Most High is not pleased with the offering of the wicked, neither is he pacified for sin by the multitude of sacrifices, man. This is what our God's saying, man. We just got to respect what he say, man, right? Whoso bringeth, verse 20, whoso bringeth an offering of the goods of the poor, do it as one that killeth the son before his father's eyes, man. Just imagine, man, somebody killed, he said somebody killed his son before their father's eyes, man. What you think gonna happen to that person, man? According to how the Most High God feel in his anger. What's gonna happen to the people that killed somebody's son before their eyes, man? And this is how the Lord looking at this, man. Bringing these offerings, man. Because a lot of brothers and sisters, we don't learn how to be content in our walk. But the Lord is requiring us to be that way, man. We go through things. We're supposed to be enduring. But a lot of things that brothers and sisters forget about things, about life, it's the long suffering part, man. That's why we look for our protection. Even our protection, guess what? We need to wait on the Lord, man. Don't wait on the Lord stupidly, but just wait on the Lord, right? The book of Philippians chapter 4 and verse 11. Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, wherewith to be content. So this is what our God expecting us to do, to learn how to be content, man. And we don't be content in a lot of things, right? This is what the Lord is saying, man. We just don't learn how to be content, man. Watch this. It's gonna go into the story of the Maccabees right quick. Watch this. Now, the other nations, they feel like they swore, the Grecians. They always feel like they guns and they got they mighty and stuff. Why do they feel this way? Because guess what? They blessings is what? The sword. So they feel like that's their protection. But with us, guess what? We know our God is our protection, right? Watch this. Second Maccabees chapter 13 and verse 1. And in the 149th year, it was told Judas. So they came to tell Judas this, right? That Antiochus Eupator was coming with a great power in Judea, and with him Lysis, his protector and ruler of his affairs, having either of them a Grecian power of footmen and 110,000, and horsemen 5,000, and 300 and 300 and 200, and elephants 220, and 300 chariots armed with hooks. So at this time they had a mighty army trying to come to take over Judea. So it's all this right here was told to Judas that they were supposed to be coming. But watch how Judas take control of the situation, right? We're gonna jump down to verse. Y'all kind of bear with me, man. I ain't did a late night class in a long time, but I'm gonna start trying, like you say, trying to get in tune, trying to doing it more, Lord willing, man. So uh the book of Second Maccabees, chapter 13. Gonna start at verse 3. Watch this. This is how Judas commanded the people to gird their loins up, right? It says, the book of Second Maccabees, chapter 13 and verse, I mean, chapter 13, start at verse, uh, let me see. Start at watch this, verse 11. I'll start at verse 11. And that he would not suffer the people that had even now been a little refreshed, but to be subject to them that blasphemeth the nation. So when they had done, when they had all done this together, and besought the merciful Lord with weeping and fasting, and laying flat upon the ground 3 days long, Judas having exhorted them, commanded they should be in readiness. And Judas being apart with the elders, determined before the king's host should enter into Judea, and get the city to go forth to try the matter and fight by the help of the Lord. So guess what? Judas said, "Nah, we finna go to war." But guess what? We're gonna go to war with the help of the Lord on our side, right? Not just going to war on our own. We need the help of the Lord, of the protector, right? This is what we need to be trying to get ourselves to do, right? This is going into, watch this. Let me see. This is going into the same thing as let me see. Bear with me for a second. Let me see. Watch this. Watch this. I'm gonna read this, but watch after this. It's gonna go into saying the same thing, because this is what, like, all our forefathers did. One after another spoke the word accordingly the same way, man. Everybody was on point with each other, man. So that's the reason why we say when you see different doctrines or anything, they not on point with the rest of the prophets in the Bible. That means either you don't have understanding or we don't have. Let's just say we as a people don't have understanding. We need to go back and get on point with the rest of everybody else in the Bible, because all Scripture has to line up, man. Precept must be upon precept, right? Watch this. The book of Psalm, chapter 121, and verse 1. I'm going to start verse 1. And I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. And my help cometh from the Lord, which made the heavens and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved, and he that keepeth thee will not slumber, right? Behold, he keepeth Israel, and shall never slumber nor sleep. The Lord is the keeper, and the Lord is thy shade upon the right hand, right? Same thing, watch this, that we were reading that we finna read in the scripture. Now, let's go back over to 2 Maccabees chapter 13. Watch this. And I'm gonna start in verse 13. And Judas being apart with the elders determined before the king's host should enter into Judea and get the city to go forth to try to matter and fight by the help of the Lord. So when he had committed all to the creator of the world, going into the same thing that like King David said, the heavens and the earth, right? The creator of the heaven and earth. But Judas saying the creator of the world, going into the same thing. So verse 14, so when he had committed all to the creator of the world and exhorted his soldiers to fight manfully, even unto death, for the law and the temple, the city, the country, and the commonwealth, he camped by the Modim, and having given the watchword to them that were about him, victory is of God, right? With the most valiant and choice young men, he went into the king's tent by night and slew the camp about 4,000 men, and the chiefest and the elephants with all that were upon them. At the last they fell the camp with fear and torment, and departed with good success. This was done in the break of day, because the protection of the Lord did help them. So these things just is going into, like you say, how King David was looking. He said he looked towards the hill for his protection. He prayed to the Most High God, and guess what? The Most High God, he was the keeper. He was the shade. That's what King David called the Lord the keeper and the shade. But in here, Maccabee called him the protector. It's going on one and the same, man. And how they supposed to be looking at, because shade is what? Protection from the sun. Guess what? What Maccabees wanted, he wanted protection from the enemies, going into one and the same, man. That's what we read in Sirach chapter 34, man. Going, all these precepts line up, Sirach chapter 34, verse 15 through 20. Getting protection from the Most High God, man. This is what we want. This is what we want to look at our God at all time, man. Watch this. I'm going to watch this. Matthew chapter 10. And watch this. Matthew chapter 10. We're gonna start. I'm gonna jump down to verse 30 right quick, but I'm gonna go back up. Watch this. Matthew chapter 10, I'm gonna start verse 28. And fear not them which can kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell, man. That's the reason why we got to make sure that we looking for our protection, man. Because we got to be fearing the one that can kill the body and soul, man. That's the second death that we don't want to meet, right? This is what the Lord telling us, man. We really don't want to meet this. Are not two sparrows sold for one farthing, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your fathers, right? Verse 30 is heavy, but the very hairs of your head are all numbered. That's like the Lord say. You see the little wool that we got on our head. The Lord said, but all our hairs on our head are numbered, man. That's how much the Most High God know every single detail of every man that He made, man. Right? But this next thing we finna go into, watch this, with Judith. This is what Judith had to do, right? Make sure that she was guided by the Most High. And even when we was going, just like if a brother had to go to court, or if a sister had to go to court, right? You want the proper words that you need to say in a situation so you can be able to, you know what, defeat the situation, right? This is what our God said, right? The book of Matthew chapter 10 and verse 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves, right? This is what our God said. He sent us forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove, man. Watch out our forefather Judith, man. She was, like you say, she was harmless as a serpent and wise as a dove, right? Judith chapter 9. See, Judith chapter 9 and verse 11. Watch this. Verse 11. Because if we know during the time of Judith, man, Judith, our foremother, the men who had fainted, they really wasn't standing up strong to be manfully, man. And Judith wanted to step up to the plate, man. Whatever she had to do for a nation, man, she was stepping up for the Lord. Guess what? But she wanted to use all the tools that the Most High God give. Guess what, man? To get us ahead, man, right? Judith chapter 9 and verse 11. For thy power standeth not in multitude, nor thy might in strong men. For thou a God of the afflicted, and helper of the oppressed, and upholder of the weak, a protector of the forlorn, a savior of them that are without hope. This is our God, man. It don't matter if you were without hope or not, man. He still is our savior, man. Some people don't believe, but He still is our God, man. No matter how we feel, man, our God is our God, and it's something that we can't change, right? Verse 12. I pray thee, O God of my father, and God of the inheritance of Israel, the Lord of heaven and earth, creator of the waters, king of every creation, hear thou my prayer. So guess what? They made it clear, just like King David saying that he's making sure that he's talking to the right God, man. Not the Christianity God that God love everybody. He said, no, he's talking about the creator of heaven. Just like the Maccabees saying, the creator of the world. Just like Sister Judith saying, created. He's telling the creators of the heavens, man. Going in one and the same, man. Making sure, look, and even putting the God of Israel in it, right? This is how our fathers talk, right? And this is how our foremothers talk, right? Verse 13. And watch, this is what she asked the Lord to do. And make my speech and deceit to be their wound and stripes, and who have proposed cruel things against thy covenant, and they hallowed houses against the tops of Zion, and against the house of the possession of thy children, and make every nation and tribe to acknowledge that thou art the God of all power and mighty, that there is none other that protected the people of Israel but thou. It said, there's no other God that can protect the people of Israel but the God that create heavens and earth. This is something that brothers and sisters have to make sure we wrap our minds around, man. No other God of the world can protect us, man. We have no other God, man. Right? But we want to be, guess what? All these brothers and these sisters were actually acting in the fervent spirit. They weren't acting of being a wicked brother or a wicked sister. No, it was acting in the spirit, right? Watch this. 14. Bible get wore out a little bit. Pages start lapping down. Let me get it together. The book of Romans, watch this. The book of Romans, chapter 8 and verse 6. This is why we must be walking in the spirit, right? It says, for to be carnal minded is death, but to be spiritual minded is life and peace, right? Verse 7, because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God, neither indeed can it be. So when a person, like you say, when a person carnal minded, they are never subject to God, man. That's the reason why Christians can never defeat us in the Bible, man. Why? Because they're always carnal minded. And watch verse 7 is heavy. It said, because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is not subject to the law of God. It's saying even when, because the carnal mind will never be subject to the law of God. That's heavy, man. Neither indeed can it be. He said, neither in their works can that be. All the works that they put in, when you carnal minded, it could never be, right? Verse 8. So they that are in the flesh cannot please God, man. So when you thinking carnal minded, if you're not thinking God's laws, guess what, man? You're thinking in the flesh, man. The Most High God have to deal with you, right? That's why we make sure, brothers and sisters, man, when y'all go on day to day on your jobs, man, make sure that you stay grown, you stay girded up. Make sure that you got your self together, man. You always want that protection, man. The protection from the creator of heavens and earth to be on you, right? You don't want the protection of Esau or protection of another man or protection of a woman. No, we want the protection of the Most High God on us, right? We want to make sure we have that protection going on our day to day, man, because when we don't, we get ourselves twisted, man, in this walk, right? Watch this. The book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 7. When a man ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. So when your ways pleasing to the Most High God, all the enemies, people can talk what they want to talk at the job. They can say what they want to say in your household. They can say what they want to say. But guess what? When your ways please the Most High, guess what, man? He make everybody that come up against you to be at peace with you, man. That's why we got to always make sure that we stay in the right spirit, not in a carnal mind, but in a spiritual mind, right? So the Lord can give us that protection, man. Another late night glass, man, trying to get it in, man. All praise to the Most High for the brothers and sisters that's tuning in. Like I said, I just started back working nights, man. Trying to get things back together, man. Hopefully I can put more classes out at night, man, Lord willing. And with that, we're going to say shalom.